Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I have been enjoying my little Before I Die movie marathon, where I've basically been trying to get through all the movies I own and have accumulated over the years and have never watched, or maybe watched once the week I bought them and then never watched them again. And one of the ones I went through, because I've been doing nightly horror movies after about 8 or 9 o'clock, sort of dramas by the day and horrors at night, because I have a lot of horrors to get through. And I watched Susperia, the original Dario Argento Susperia. I used to call it sarsaparilla when I was a kid. So embarrassing. Yeah, I never knew what it was about all those years, and I bought it and watched it a few years ago, and it was interesting. I loved the colour. It was very dramatic. It was odd and intense, which a lot of his films are. And, I mean, I didn't know that they were witches. I mean, it took a while for that to come out. The sense of paranoia, the isolation within, the actual institution, everything was interesting, the way they played that all out. But there was a lot of unbelievability to it, like why you would put up with certain things, why you would allow certain things. Like if you went into an environment like that, why there wouldn't be more red flags and alarms going off a lot sooner. But I mean, all the weird things do add to the mystery and the suspiciousness of every character in it. But it's not really believable. You really do watch it just for the style and for the feeling of it, as opposed to the story or anything character based. But I mean, the really beautiful thing about it is the colour. And people always talk about the colour in the film, and not enough films use colour. So it's something that is really striking today, because so many films are just grey, dull. It's like a dull. The palette is just bland. It's like filmmakers are afraid of colour, or afraid that colour somehow equals camp or cheap or something. I don't get it. Something that's been slowly happening over the last, I think, decade or so. And part of this was when 3D came in. They'd have to have lower lights for the 3D to work. It had to be brighter lights, but they were using lower lights to save money. And a lot of these films needed bright lights, so they came off really grey. And there's a whole bunch of films that I thought had no colour palette that I've seen on DVD since that looked great. But there are also a lot that don't. And like I said, the filmmakers just seem to be afraid of it. But the remake was awful. They didn't play on any of the elements that worked in the first film. They just used the name. They just used the IP, the brand recognition, basically brand name, brand recognition. That's it. And it was awful. I didn't watch the end. It was getting near to the last train, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to risk missing the train for this film. I didn't even watch the end of the film. It was that bad and that boring. I think I fell asleep a couple of times in it. But the original, it still holds its own in it creates its own weird little universe, and I'm glad I own it. I got the special edition with the 20th anniversary documentary and interviews, radio spots, just the usual special features. But glad I have it. It's in my library. It is beautiful just to look at. I think I was expecting more of a story. I sort of was expecting a lot because I couldn't remember. I think I will enjoy it more if I watch it again soon and I actually remember how little the story makes sense, and how and just to enjoy the atmosphere and the feeling of it. So yeah, I just want to do a little, I guess this is a review, but not really. Yeah, I just want to talk about it because I enjoyed it. And it's just, there aren't enough films that, I mean, I think we overemphasize story and character, I think, and not enough films really focus on the visual and create a feeling or an atmosphere. And they do neglect things like, directors, the producers, the directors, the writers, they don't seem to know how to make films. They don't seem to know how to use colour or anything that creates any sort of feeling in the audience, or any sort of, it's just all about the writing, and the writing is always very pretentious and overdone. It's just, I kind of miss these sort of films where they just are looking at the visuals and just creating a feeling or an experience for the audience. And yeah, I think that's what I sort of appreciate about it. But I've been talking for nearly 5 minutes. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. I feel like I haven't really said enough about it, but I don't know. I'm just going to put it back in the library, and hopefully I'll watch it again sometime soon. But yeah, it's just I really love visual films. I can watch a film with no story and no acting and no characterization if it's got good visuals. And films like that get better with age, rather than story-based movies and character-based movies, which once you sort of know the character arc, once you know the story, there's not much to watch. It's sort of done. That story's been told. At least with these, you can experience the visuals of them again and again and again and again. I'm going to go.